I said, let's not immobilize Africa. Let's withhold minerals from the US. That is it. If they don't give us money, let us not give them minerals.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa.
But the reality is they take our minerals, but say they are withholding funding. No, we have minerals in the continent, and therefore we have something. We are not just beggars. Gwede Mantashe to a round of applause. No, you're not a beggar. You're a mampara. Take your minerals? Is Gwede smoking his socks? Is he drinking Chibuku or Castle Lager? The United States buys your minerals. There is no taking of anything except in the other direction. In 2023, South Africa got $500 million in gifted foreign assistance from the United States, no questions asked. And the U.S. bought $430 million in minerals from South Africa. That's nearly $1 billion or 18 billion rand going your way, Gwede. No wonder caterers can't run economies. Apparently, they can't even add. It is aid, a gift. Your response is to not sell minerals?
With this standing threat that, because you passed an Expropriation Act, therefore, Trump would withhold funding to South Africa. And they said, let's not immobilize Africa. Let's withhold minerals to U.S. That is it. If they don't give us money, let's not give them minerals.
How exactly does that help South Africa? It may get you applause and get cater votes, but it doesn't help South Africans. The United States is out of money. $2 trillion deficit spending in Biden's last year in office. And gives South Africa funds that Washington had to borrow and will have to pay back later with interest at the expense of the taxpayer. So the United States government is giving money to South Africa that's borrowed by the United States government, and then that debt is passed on to American taxpayers, and their children and grandchildren have to pay it back for South Africa. Why do you begrudge Americans not going into debt on your behalf? Next time we hear moaning about neocolonialism, remember it was the African National Congress that insisted Washington give them handouts when the USA was trying to leave them alone. They came back to the Americans. You can't call the USA imperialistic and then expect the country to keep giving you money. The Expropriation Act, which Ramaphosa signed into law last month, makes no provision for confiscation of land. Actually, yes, it does. Read the act. I have. The state has all of the power in the relationship. The property owner has no power in that state property owner relationship. If the landowner is unwilling to sell or accept the price that the state dictates, the case goes to a state-run court or a state-appointed arbiter. It's confiscation. Just admit it. So Gwede Mantashe wants to threaten the United States because it won't give away money for no return. And his leverage is cutting off minerals. First, minerals are fungible commodities and in most cases are available on the world market from a variety of suppliers. Consequently, the impact of a South African embargo would be limited at best. Second, talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. The loss of the U.S. market would lead to the shuttering of ever more South African mines and the loss of jobs. It would be a hammer blow to an already crippled economy in South Africa. And third, talk about mean-spirited. The United States has not canceled any trade deals, just indicated that we'll no longer give away money in the future. That money does not even go to the government of South Africa. Now, Gwede should tread with caution on this threat. China tried to screw over Japan by embargoing rare earth elements over an island dispute in the Sea of Japan, and that backfired royally. Hampered for several months, Japanese engineers developed alternative solutions, no longer dependent on Chinese suppliers. And when China finally ended the embargo, Japan had moved on and no longer wanted their rare earths. So let's jump forward to consider what a South African mineral embargo might mean to the United States in a fully integrated global economy. U.S. total imports of minerals from South Africa in 2023, the most recent data available, were $429,456,000, or 4% of South Africa's total mineral exports. U.S. is not a major market for South African minerals. China takes 63% of mineral exports from South Africa. The U.S. is only the 10th largest customer for South African minerals. Now, for the sake of brevity, let's focus on a handful of key minerals, of which South Africa is a major producer, specifically chromium, manganese, titanium, and platinum. The United States imports all of its chromium from South Africa. Sounds like they've got us over a barrel. In 2023, the United States imported a whopping $32 million worth of chromium ores and concentrates. That's not very much chromium. Turkey, India, and Finland are among the largest producers globally and can easily meet that small demand. In 2022, the United States imported $191 million in manganese. 25% of that came from South Africa. Gabon, Australia, or Ghana could easily fill what comes out of the amount that comes out of South Africa. Titanium is not a major concern. In 2022, the United States imported $830 million in titanium, making it the world's largest importer of the metal. That sounds bad, huh? The U.S. imports titanium from many places, however, including Japan, Germany, China, the United Kingdom, and even Russia. Japan, however, accounts for 77% of all U.S. imports. So South Africa, far less. South Africa does account for 25% of U.S. platinum imports, and that's a lot. In 2022, the United States imported $13.2 billion in platinum, mainly from South Africa, almost $4 billion. Now that we're talking about, that's an issue. Germany comes second with just over $3 billion, then Russia, Belgium, and the United Kingdom. But even if South Africa embargoes mineral exports to the U.S., the global marketplace will almost certainly fill the shortfalls, either from other producers or via third parties that buy from South Africa and sell to the U.S. So you have to wonder about the emotional response from politicians who overplay their hand, assuming they have all the cards. Perhaps this is a legacy of the 1970s and 1980s during the Cold War, when South Africa's minerals featured far more strategically. But that time has long since passed. Back then, the Soviet republics cannot be counted on as sources for minerals. China had barely begun exploiting its deposits. Australia was a far smaller mineral producer, and the DRC produced much less. The markets were also less integrated than they are under the current wave of globalization. The best thing Pretoria can do now is to eat some humble pie, stop poking the bear, and hope Trump gets distracted, maybe with Gaza. Otherwise, the only path forward is, number one, a life without the free U.S. handouts, or rescinding the law. Now, the good news for South Africa is that a Section 80 challenge would most likely result in the Constitutional Court declaring the law unconstitutional, allowing the ANC to save face. And that could happen in a matter of weeks if Parliament gets its act together. But the ANC is hard-headed and not very astute either. Just look at the arrogance of demanding handouts, claiming that they're not beggars, and then threatening their benefactor by shutting down mineral exports. It's downright stupid or psychotic. You decide. Well, Gwede Mantashe, Donald Trump's playing three-dimensional chess. I don't think you have your checkers on the board yet. Over to you.